Okay, yeah, started recording now. Uh, Everyone should like just introduce themselves, I guess. Left to right on the screen, at least. Well, does it
Yep,
vary
the
between
order might
people?
be all right. On my screen, I'm the leftist, but it might be.
Yeah.
You should just call people out username.
Uh,
Do it.
okay. Let's go with Droqen first then.
Hi, I'm Droqen. I named the Droqevers after myself. I made them, and I made a game recently called The End of Gameplay, and it's on Steam. Like I think that's the thing I should do, right? I should tell people to go look at my game on Steam because
Yeah, I
it's
think
good.
I'll.
But
I
I made
think.
the Droqen. Oh,
Yeah, I think
go
I'll
ahead.
link it in the description of the thing. Sorry.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Z- Ziggy next, or Siegfried? Which do you prefer to be said?
Hey, Ziggy.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody with Ziggy. Hi, I'm Ziggy. I played some of the Droqevers, and they're quite meaningful to me as well.
Cool. We also have Gitarog here, but they don't have a mic right now. I think it is. Yeah.
Hey, no, I have a mic. Sorry.
Never mind then.
My real name's Roberto. I am kind of a newcomer. I ended up like starting to follow Droqen like I don't know, maybe half a year ago, and I basically have only caught the like the last few Droqevers. I did see them beforehand. I just never played them before they went away.
I think I started like getting into Droqen at about the same time as you then. I don't remember exactly how far back it was, but like similar time. And then we have Repo. How do you pronounce that? RPO. I'm thinking Repo like the
RPO,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, it's RP0, but RPO or RP0 is better. But yeah, I also follow Droqen much longer. I don't honestly. I played like his big popular game, Starseed Pilgrim, forgot about it, and then like the neurons all started firing, and it's like, what was this game I played? And then I feel like I've been along on a ride for a long time. But yeah, just a fan.
Cool. We also
Just a fan. RP0. You're called out on the website for you're the reason it has an RSS feed. I don't know who else uses the RSS feed, but it's for you. I made it for you.
Yes, I'm the legendary RSS feed and evangelist.
Yeah. We also have
I'm
James.
so glad that you made that.
Sorry, it's hard to
Oh,
find.
is James here?
Yeah. Well, they don't have a mic, but I think they're like they'll be like commenting and such in like in the server. I'll read out their comments when they actually post any. Not even sure if they actually. Yeah. Wait, no, that's Droqen. Not even sure if they're here yet though. But still. And then there's me, username 404. I've made various videos on the Droqevers and other games and such, and I know I find them just interesting. I like the art style a lot. Yeah. So yeah, Droqen, back to the Droqevers. Just looking at the you posted the RSS feed here, and I'm wondering, was there any like particular reason you posted so many before you actually like put up links to them? Like there was Dayloon, Flooded Pillar Space, etc. before A Simple Crossing, which was the earliest link I could find.
Okay, this is a complicated answer. I actually made maybe like 50 prior to these
50?
that were yeah. I was trying to recreate the experience that I had with 31 unmarked games. So I made a bunch of little games. I'd made myself a website and I posted a bunch of small games on. There was kind of a menu in the top left. It was a different format. It wasn't this expiring thing. It was there's a menu in the top left or whatever top left hand corner of the site. And whenever I posted a new game, it used like a little like icon sprite and it put a little clickable stamp in the calendar for the month.
Oh yeah, I think I remember
Put
seeing
a lot
you
of like
post about that. Yeah.
And so I was making those, and I didn't do it quite every day, but I did for, I did like one every day for a week. Like I did like a nice like solid, and then I got a little bit more sporadic. And I was looking at this website and the calendar and all these games, and I just kind of felt stressed out by the number of games that were there. it didn't. It felt like it had the same problem as 31 unmarked games, which was just too many little like bits floating around. And I did a bunch of experiments. Like I tried to make mobile controls work. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Sorry, I think you kind of solved that a little bit in 31 unmarked games by having them all be in like one place. So reasonably, a person would pull out one at a time and then play them and put them away somewhere. But yeah, still could be stressful if they were just loose, like on the website. It seemed it would be. Sorry, interrupted.
Yeah, like I didn't know who would like. I didn't like the idea of a person's experience like coming to that website and just feeling kind of overwhelmed by the number of like little icons, and like they weren't really communicating anything. They didn't have like enough in common. So I felt like the website was stressful for me because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like when someone opens this, I don't know what they're going to take away from it, and I didn't know how to design it better. So then the first four that you see in that list, Dalune, Flooded Pillar Space, Strawberry Hell,
235.
those were what was the 235. I think that I was experimenting with this expiring game format, and I was posting them in Paradise or to privately to friends. I believe I did not share Dalune with anyone, and then Flooded Pillar Space I put in Paradise, and I think Strawberry Hell I just shared with a couple of people, and then 235 I also posted in Paradise, and I think that's really when then after that I started to post them publicly on Blue Sky as kind of I felt like okay, I understand sort of what's going on. I don't remember exactly even when I added comments. Comments weren't there right from the beginning.
Just like
but I added them at some point. It seemed like a good like end cap. Like here's what happens when the game expires. You get to see all the comments.
Wait, I'm wondering, am I like delayed? I think I am, but either way.
It's a video call. It just that's the internet.
Yeah. Now, do you have it?
Historian work? Sorry.
You first.
So comments started with Big Orb, I believe, maybe Ascent to the Top. And to be clear again, 235 it came out after Grouse Mountain 2. So that's just the date is wrong or something with that. But
I think I expect that what happened is I actually made 235 and inserted it like into the database at that time, but then like I must have not released it, and then I changed the date. Like this is the order in the database based on when it was entered, but the like I can change the dates. I can manually like flip a bit. So that's interesting. But it came out after Big. You said 235 came out after Big Orb.
After Grouse.
Oh, after Grouse Mountain. That's interesting.
Though I don't know if that comports with my memory. So it must have come out after Make 10. But anyways, that's too into the weeds.
No, it's good to know.
Do you remember anything like anything particularly interesting about any of the first few that like were not posted publicly? Really? Anything you want to share? It's okay if you don't.
I think that the one I remember the most distinctly, I'll just share one. I mean, Strawberry Hell I really like, but it felt contentless. You're just like a little like jumping guy, and I'm pretty sure it was Strawberry Hell. It said blue, 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 and it was like a nice pixel art world that was fun. Not even, I don't know, like it had a look, it had an aesthetic, and it just said blue, 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 and then there was a little sort of doorway, and you go through the doorway, and it's a completely different tile set, and it just says red, 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 and like that was it, and there was what looked like another doorway, but it didn't go anywhere, and I guess that feels like it feels like one of the most pure Droqever expressions. It's just I don't know. It's two places. They're not saying anything. It's just the.
I find
you
it
also argument. It reminds me of Pink Argument. Pink, 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 pink. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Maybe there's something like. Do you think that you've figured out or overcome the like saying a color many times? Like what was it?
No, saying a color many times is so powerful. Like colors are so they're so visceral and pure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again.
Well, the idea with Pink Argument was like Like that's
wait, hold on. I think we need to because pink argument isn't actually in the end of gameplay.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's you can kind of like hack it out of it. But pink argument is a level that was removed from the end of gameplay. I don't know if it was the right move or not, but that one was in a very early version, and like it's in the end of gameplay. You're the bunny. Sorry, username 404. This is like so off track and in the
No,
weeds as well.
I mean, no, honestly, it's
Um,
fine. I don't know what else we would be doing if not going off track and talking.
That's fair. That's good. That's a good way to think to talk about a conversation. Just so, pink argument is like this very. It was this very pink level with white text and like kind of you walked on the text and you. Anyway, it once you sort of like sneak your way into a different part of this level that is hidden in the end of gameplay unless you hack it, which is really easy with Godot. There's actually someone in the Steam community who is talking about hacking it and seems kind of disappointed that there's not more, but he's still like digging. But Pink Argument was a level that it's the whole level is just like the word pink, just me mashing on my keyboard like pink, 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 pink until I'm like making typos and errors, and it is a very weird level.
Yeah. Two
do you think
things. Sure.
that comes from the same place as the red and the blue, or the strawberry?
Say that again.
Do you think that came from the structurally the blue and the strawberry Droqever is similar to the pink one, right? You can see like a structural connection there, and I'm just wondering if that's something that you.
I think it was. I think it was kind of intentional. Like I'm kind of sad that Strawberry Help came so early and I didn't show anyone because I really like it. And so Pink Argument was a little bit. I think that's part of why I removed it. It felt like a little bit referential. Like I wanted to explore the same space, and then it got kind of like unhinged, and I was like, "What's going on? What am I doing here?" So definitely very related, and I'm glad that you brought it up.
I'm just minor question about pink argument. Like, was it just like the typed pink, or was it also like drawn pink, like scribbling pink in actual like tiles, or was it just
the tiles? From what I remember, it was the background. The background was like this, like the purest magic pink you can get, like FF00FF, and then everything else was white except for the bunny. The bunny's always the bunny. And so yeah, it was like the level itself was pink, and then I think it had some walls that were black. I think that the background and the blocks sort of merged together a little bit.
Yeah. Now back to the Droqevers. Yeah. Do you have any that you? Yeah. Do you have any? Do you think that like were your favorite to make, or you liked how they came out in the end, etc.?
It was fun returning to Saint's Path and Saints Astray. I think that was really fun. I think I think Tree Climber was one of my favorites as well. And let's see.
I like that.
Very fond of, I think Desert Archive, I think was maybe the first one that I posted on Blue Sky, and I have some like nice associations with it because I was like, oh, like people are really getting into this kind of weird thing. And then also We Met at the Summit. I think We Met at the Summit was sort of the second one that had like a good public response that I remember. And so those two have a special place in my heart. Oh, okay. You know what? I could just talk about all of them. Like I'm gonna shut up. Please continue. I could gush about how I feel about my own games forever, but I don't. There's a lot. There's everyone. I'm curious about how everyone else thinks too.
I mean, yeah, fair, understandable. Just looking at the order of people on my screen. Ziggy, do you have any favorite of the ones you've played? Just.
Yeah. I have just started looking at your channel, username 404.
Thank you.
And it's awesome. You have like archived and documented so many of these, so I can kind of go back and remember. I remember really liking like the one that I was thinking about earlier today when I was trying to remember the Droqevers, was the Tree Climber. climbing the trees. Like that felt really nice. Just fun, you know, like so many of them, because it's like the jumping mechanics, the platforming mechanics are there's no one who makes better platforming mechanics more, you know, nuanced and fun. So it's like every time that you open up a Droqever, the first thing is like, what is this? What is the pleasant, you know, fun jumping like platforming mechanic? And then like, what are the secret layers? Because there's always like, oh, if you crouch and jump, then you know you go this way or you go that way, or if you like you can walk off the edge of a cliff and you do coyote time and you know all this stuff. So that's always fun. And then climbing a tree is just like the natural platformer. But then when we started talking and you mentioned the orb, big orb, I feel like big orb and simple crossing, like they stand out in my mind as being really special, but also as being like too good. Like they could be their own video games. It's so that when you play them, it feels, you know, you feel the longing for more. You know, it's like, oh no, this has got to be a whole game. This is the next Starseed Pilgrim or something, which I think is like a little bit overwhelming. That can feel a little bit overwhelming. Like so, yeah, I liked those two, but at the same time, they're not as like down. They're not as calming maybe as the rest. And then the one with the bird. What was the one with the one with the bird? What was the one where you play an old bird and you
Grass
walk
Mountain 2. It's Grass Mountain 2. It's the sequel to Grass Mountain.
Grass Mountain. Grass Mountain 2. Is that it? Grass Mountain 2?
Yes.
Yeah, the one that was like really
Yeah,
green.
I don't remember it being yellow. Grass Mountain
wait.
2.
Are you thinking of what's it, Saints Astray by any chance, where you're like a character in front of a yellow bird, orange bird?
There's like a bird. Yeah, it's none of these ones. There's like a bird on that you see in the distance. There's a lot of text.
Oh, is
in
it
the
is it a thing of beauty? I think it might be a thing of beauty.
And you have to, there's long parts where you have to fall down, and there's a whole spike area, and then the platforming mechanic is like really nuanced, where you can crouch and then you can just drift, and you can like go underneath the level and back up again and stuff. And there's waterfalls.
I'm pretty sure
There's
it's
a
a thing of
waterfall.
beauty. There's like
Yeah, I
there's like
remember.
updrafts or something.
Yeah. Updrafts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thing of beauty. I'm looking at this now.
Mhm.
Definitely. I'd say that was probably my favorite. That was the one that I spent maybe the longest time with, but that didn't also feel like this is
This is trying to
a
keep my
prototype,
attention.
like a
Oh,
small,
never mind.
you know, yeah, exactly. So that's me.
Yeah, I really like
Wait,
the.
let me.
Oh, sorry, you first.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Wait. I'll go. I'll go. I just wanted to say that I feel what you're saying, Ziggy, about a simple crossing and also big orb. I think that after those two, it was kind of a turning point for me. That was like my early kill gameplay moment. I was like, oh, I get it. Like I can make these and they're compelling, but like I don't want to. So I intentionally stopped pursuing things like that. Maybe not immediately, but those two definitely feel of a kind that I stopped making.
There's like a certain kind of fiction where you have a big mysterious orb and like some implied lore. And it's like easy, you know, scare quotes, nothing's easy, nothing worth doing is easy. But it's like easy to put that kind of lore into something and then have the user be like, oh, what is this? Like what's next? Keep going. I feel like they evoked that, especially like with the lightning in the big orb. I think had lightning maybe.
Yeah, lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like shot from above whenever you did various things.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Sorry.
Big Orb reminded me a lot of like the Flash game era, where you would have like these you know, you'd have a lot of classic games, but you'd have these like super polished Flash games that would come out that, you know, were supposed to raise the level of quality in the competition. And, you know, I was just a kid, but I remember always being so amazed at these games, but they never really stick in your memory as much. I did like Big Orb though, but I'm glad you shifted your style after that.
Yeah.
Just going back to what you said at the very start of your I don't know what to call it, your speech, or sorry, that sounds rude still. But yeah, I particularly remember the first three I played all had like entirely different jumping mechanics. And it was really fun to try and get to the bottom of it. And I remember particularly in Oh, damn it, a simple. No, not a simple. If you look on the image I sent, the one in the second from the bottom, second from the right. I can't remember its name.
Oh,
But
that's a thing of beauty.
a thing of beauty, yes. I particularly remember trying to get to. I remember there was one, there was a tile which had, when you stood next to it, it would generate text, like pre-placed, of course.
Mm.
And I remember trying to get. There was one where you just like couldn't get to it, and I was so curious if you actually
Yeah.
could in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it is. It is not reachable, but there was text that I wrote for it.
There was text. Why? Was it in?
Cruel.
I don't remember if it was like I don't think. I don't. I pass. No comment.
Fair.
You gotta be more mysterious about this. Like, oh, you'll never know. Now I know you hate being cryptic, but
I hate it, but I keep doing it. It's very frustrating.
Fair. Gitarog, I notice you've been like muted most of the time. Is there any reason for that? I'm just curious. It's okay if you want to stay muted.
I just don't have anything to say. I don't know. I feel like I mean, if this is like a natural break, I can talk about what my favorite was. But
yeah, I was just about to ask that.
Okay. Okay, then yeah. I again, as I said before, I'm a newcomer, so I've only played like the end of and the end of like series, and then the score 10 one. I think that my favorite is actually the end of Red Key 2. Mostly because it's like this sicko maze game. I like those. And then you have to use like the little mechanic where it's like, oh well, if I go through the screen transition, then I can like phase through one of the blocks. Like that's like amazing. I love that. And then like you have these sort of like looping levels, and then you signal that they're different by just like a single tile change. You're like, huh, which version am I in? I don't know. I think it's really cool. I'm a big fan of those sorts of maze games. Progression be damned.
Yeah, I remember a few.
Wait, what did you say? What be damned?
Progression, because like you know, you don't need like I don't know. This is broader commentary, but like, you know, when you think of like exploration games, you think like, oh, Metroidvania or whatever. But it can also just be like, well, what's in the maze? What's the maze? Yeah. Like, what's the map? What do I think? Like, where's everything?
Totally.
Yeah, I remember a lot of the Droqevers had that sort of quality to them. Like I remember like Joke Dev particularly, and I'm bad with names and such. One of the early ones, I think it was Saints Path, but like you would have to like navigate a huge maze. It was overwhelming, kind of. But ultimately, you would find something at the end.
I think Valley Underwater was like a little bit like that too.
It felt less like a maze to me and more like just an exploration of a large space. Still interesting, but not in the same way, really.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. It's funny because Saints Path is, I don't know how many people actually did it, but Saints Path actually, there's like hidden, I guess, within it is a very linear route, so Saints Path has those big lasers, and when you touch them, it like triggers like an effect, and it's like this is a bad thing, but it doesn't actually do anything bad. And I know Sylvie did it, but you can beat Saints Path without touching those lasers, and so in my mind, like that's the canonical Saints, like the path in Saints Path, like that's the canonical like. So when I think of it, I'm like, oh, it's like such a linear game, but because it's not clear that you're supposed to be walking that path, and it's intentionally not clear that you're supposed to be walking that path. It's really interesting to hear from you that it's one that you can get lost in, because it's not that like that's not how it like settles in my brain. Whereas like for some of the other ones, it definitely like in like Red Key 2 definitely is sicko maze game in my brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, they vary slightly. You know, it could. Sorry, they vary slightly. I could be remembering it wrong, etc. I remember like I tried to avoid the lasers. I think I did two, and I couldn't dodge like the third one or something. And I didn't really know if there was any point to actually doing it in the end. But still,
Some things only Sylvie can do.
That's true.
Was
Yeah,
that
it was
Sylvie?
just for Sylvie. Sylvie is the true sicko. Um, the
God
original
bless
sicko.
Sylvie. Was that the guiltless ending? That
Yeah, it was the guiltless ending.
Okay, yeah. That's what I got the first time because laser bad, but
Yeah, laser bad.
then I realized you could go through the laser.
Well, good. I'm glad that you had that. You immediately you knew. You're like, this is wrong. I'm gonna do it perfectly.
Well, I think with a name like Saints anything, you're kind of inviting people to break the rules. You're like, you're not going to stay on the path, are you?
Well, some people did, Ziggy. Just maybe it's just you. Maybe you're the only anti-saint here.
yeah. I remember finding Saints Astray particularly appealing, or Saints Astray, because it was like a follow-up to the previous one, and I don't think I saw any of the other ones do that, like be a follow-up to something. I hadn't heard of like Grass Mountain 2 at the time, and even that wasn't really a follow-up, more just similar thing.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, I guess in a way you could say Saints Astray was like kind of a I mean like all of these are a little bit the end of gameplay prototypes. And Saints Astray was like the first one where I reused the like really like kind of a style and a character controller, and I guess the end of gameplay does that too with like the bunny where you just have this one controller, but I reuse it multiple times. And I remember it being very relaxing making Saints Astray because I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't have to make a whole new character controller every time. I can, if I want, reuse one. That was nice. I liked doing it. I'm glad to hear that it's one that you liked.
Yeah. I remember, I'm trying to look for it now. You said that like Saint's Path was made as, I think, an apology to a friend. I think you said. I can't remember at the
Wow.
moment right now. And I'm
I
curious if
actually can't. I do remember saying or writing that, but I don't remember any details. If I had some, I would. Well, I might not disclose them, but I would at least be able to think about whether I could disclose them or not. But I don't remember what the apology was or who the friend was.
and I'm curious.
Sounds about right though. Guiltless.
Yeah. Do you remember? And
Oh, go ahead.
just about there. Look at finding the co-host post where you mentioned it right now. I remember you mentioned it, but was like Saints Astray at all related to it in that way? Was it also a similar apology sort of thing?
I don't remember. I would make the uninteresting guess that it was not, and it was just like an experiment of format. But I don't know.
Huh.
Like
Sorry,
my brain is telling me that I was just looking at Saint's Path and remembering it, and I was like, well, that one was cool. And I wanted to just like play around with it a little more. Because even I mean, I think even now, like the fact that I don't exactly remember who it was an apology to, I guess it didn't do its job as a mnemonic for me. I just let it go after. So I think when by the time I made Saints Astray, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I feel fine. I probably wasn't even thinking about it anymore.
yeah, I just clicked the link to like the co-host post. Like, has co-host gone down like entirely? I remember you said like similar
yeah, it's
something.
gone.
Yeah, it's dead.
Oh,
Rest in peace.
it's a shame, but still, just curious because like
Yeah.
it auto redirected me to the web archive, despite the fact that I don't think you changed the link.
Yeah. No, co-host was a flash in the pan. It burned hot and died like very hard. There was a period of time where co-host was saying, "Hey, we're not going to have servers anymore. We're going to delete everything. So if there's anything you want to save, you have like 3 months to do it, and then it's over." And people were sad, and and then it was over as promised.
In that sense, it's sort of like a Droqever. Makes sense that you would post like a post. I don't remember what it like a notice of the Droqevers on it, because it would go to with time.
Yeah, I remember when co-host was dying. I think I made some kind of observation about how its
Something
dying was similar to the Droqevers.
Yeah, Let It Rot, I think was the name of it.
Let it rot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just like echoing your words of my words. Please continue. I'm going to stop interrupting you.
I mean, to be fair, that's what echoes do. They echo. Yeah. Next up, I think was Repo. I'm bad with pronunciation again.
RP0.
RP0.
RPO.
Think of it like an acronym, like it's
It's an acronym, yeah.
RP0.
Okay, RPO. Do you have a favorite Droqever? Any?
See, I do have a favorite, but I'm not sure if it was a Droqever, and it's really bothering me because I can't remember its name.
Huh.
But we'll see. It was one where you get on a boat and you go on a little voyage. I think you pick up an apple at some point, and then you start climbing this mountain. I'm looking at the names of titles, and it might have been We Met at the Summit or something, but
We met at
can't
Summit. You
figure out
like
if this
started on
is-
the top of a hill and jumped down, and then climbed up a second mountain. And yeah, that was another one where you used like screen wrapping to get higher than you could before. But I don't think it was that one.
I think it was Flooded Pillar Space. I'm pretty sure it was Flooded Pillar Space. You start on like a boat and you go around this kind of there was water that was rising and falling all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you sometimes had to use that to your advantage, but
Mhm.
eventually you got away from the water and start climbing. Okay, so apparently I'm remembering an extremely early one, but yeah, my favorite thing about these Droqevers were that they're very ephemeral and like they're very small experiences. So I have trouble like actually getting myself to play games, but I never had trouble playing these because it was just like I know it's going to be short. This man will not take that much of my time, so getting to do that and experiencing these little vignettes was really fun.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, I like how they're short enough to recommend to someone, and they won't be like, "Do I have the time to sink into this?" Like I remember, like very recently, I think a few days ago, I recommended 235 to a friend, and like the next day he had played it, completed it, and was talking about. He said he liked the fact that at the very bottom was like only threes, which was like impossible to do.
Yeah.
I haven't counted it. You could clear the first two, but not the third screen because there's too many threes there. It's weird.
Reminds me of. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to correct the record from earlier that all three of us started talking at the same time. Sorry. 235 did come out very early on. I was wrong at the start there,
but it has been re-released with like a few, I think less than a month to go still, but quite a while.
Yeah.
There was a bleat that Liz Ryerson bloat. Sorry, that's the past tense of bleat is bloat. It's official. And she was talking about, I think she was talking about blueprints, kind of maybe subtweeting it, subbleeding. It doesn't. Oh my god, terminology. And how there's these games that they just take so much time to even get to a point where you can talk about them. And I felt her frustration as well, and I think it's an interesting. I think about it with regards to the end of gameplay, but I hadn't actually thought about it very much about the Droqevers. But I'm glad that you're bringing that I don't know, that it gives you that feeling of like, hey, I can just play this thing very quickly, and then you know what it's all about, and you can talk to someone about it, and if you want to be able to talk to someone about it. I mean, in the case of the Droqevers, they expire, so at some point you can no longer talk with someone about it. But if you do want to talk with someone about it, you can, you can do it. It's like it's kind of easy. You just try it, and you're like, yeah, that's it. So that's the thing.
I mean, even if they do expire, you can still always talk about them. They just fade into memory. They're less of a real thing.
They're also kind of bigger on the outside than they are on the inside. Like I think about a long time ago, Droqen, you made Block Faker, and
Yeah,
that was like a fake version of these. Like that was like a fake one of these because Block Faker pretends that there is some way to escape the game, right? You hadn't maybe realized at that point that like the real way to escape the game is to have something bigger than the game in there, right? So like you play the Droqevers, and after playing a Droqever, you have a lot more to talk about than, for example, after playing Slay the Spire, because you're like your 5 or 10 minutes of playing a Droqever, or your however long it is to play the end of gameplay, gives you ejects you out into the real world. Like it sits better as part of the real world, right? So even though they're gone, like they're not gone because we can talk about them, we carry them with us and stuff.
I like what you're saying about them sitting. Oh, go ahead.
I find it.
Oh.
It's nice that they're like short enough. They're sort of like poems, of course, and it's nice to know that they're. I don't know what I'm going on about. Not sure what I meant to say. Continue, Droqen.
No, I think RP0 was gonna say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like, it's so nice because a lot of modern games, they'll just be like, oh, you'll have to play it to find out, and I can't talk about it, otherwise that's spoilers. And by the way, I've been playing it for 40 hours. Like, I will not mention any games here, but a recent game did release that gave me such strength of that feeling, and I'm glad to have a countercurrent to it.
Yeah, I feel that. I agree with that feeling that like the things that are hidden in most games that have things hidden aren't as, I don't know, valuable or interesting, and are much harder to get to than the things that are hidden in a Droqever or end of gameplay, because those things are not hidden in the game; they're hidden in you, and they like you wake them up by playing the game.
I think there are lots of things in like these bigger modern games that are like do have value, maybe even significant value. Like I'll just keep talking about Blueprints. It's easy because I played a little bit of it and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like there's discoveries to be made, and I'm sure that there's like much deeper and bigger discoveries to be made, but I'm like, is this worth it? I don't like I made 235 because I was playing Make 10, and uh, I thought I could play Make 10 for a whole bunch of time, and there's definitely a bunch of experiences that I get out of it. Just these little number brain things, but I wanted to make something that kind of just captured one specific feeling of from Make 10, which I guess is, I don't know, combining. You can combine a 235 where you get like a 2233 or a 55, and that's all you can do in 235, and then it just lets you go. Make 10 never lets you go. It has more. There's like a greater volume of stuff in Make 10, or in the game that it's based on, Fruit something, and it doesn't Fruit Box. There's definitely a greater volume of little discoveries to make, but it also just I think there's like a scatter plot in my brain. Like you get like a bunch of dense little dots, and then they kind of get more and more and more spaced out, and it's this weird diminishing return experience. And so I made 235 because I thought, hey, like what if I could just give you 3 of those things, but I could give them to you in a little bundle, and then it says, hey, okay, you're done, like get out of here. And I'm sure that does other things that aren't in Make 10 as well, like the screen full of 3s. But yeah,
I thought that Grouse Groose Mountain 2 that was also a very good example of something like this, where it's not going to be very long that you go from finding little worms to feed your babies to I found a temple and I'm going to explore it. But it's like in that space, it's so dense that you get a lot out of it, and you can still talk about it. It's great.
I still think a lot about You Have to Burn the Rope. I don't know if you've played that game. It's like an old Flash game, and it drops you into kind of like a dungeon looking thing, like a platformer dungeon thing, and you run down like 2 corridors, and I forget exactly what it says in those corridors. It just teaches you how to do some stuff, and then there's this huge boss fight. There's a boss, and he's all dramatic and stuff, but you can't actually hurt him. I think like you throw these axes, but he doesn't actually do anything, and all you do is you just go up to the top and you grab a torch and you burn the rope in the chandelier, and it falls on the boss, and then it ends, and there's like a song. It's like a 3-minute song that's I'm not it's and it's just it's the song is telling the story that you just experienced. You just had maybe like a 3-minute experience, and says, oh, you fought the grinning kind of heartfelt experience. That's very rewarding, and it's like so easy to share. Or it was in the day when, I don't know, Flash was alive and Flash games and sharing Flash games was a thing that people did. Sorry for anyone who's just been spoiled about the You Have to Burn the Rope, but it's such a sweet game. If you can play it, you should play it.
Yeah, I definitely played it in the past. It's good. I don't think it's a spoiler that in You Have to Burn the Rope, you have to burn the rope, but
yeah.
Yeah, the density of experiences is something that's lacking these days. But should we talk about more Droqevers?
I mean, are there any other ones you guys want to talk about?
What are
any particular?
Well, what about you, username?
Well, yeah, you can probably guess my favorite, which is not found, of course. Because well, like it's based off my art. Sorry, that sounds pretentious, but still, it was.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for making it.
No, it's of course. I'd love to. Yeah, okay, hold on. I don't know how much if you want to talk about it, I want to hear what you have to say about it, but I would also love to talk about it because I think that it's like such an interesting topic.
I don't know, like at this, like after I'd played, I think all the Droqevers up to that point, and a few of your other games. Like I remember I found you from Awake. And I liked the art style of your games. I liked the non-transparent sprites. I especially like in Awake where it was the same color as the background, so sometimes it would look a bit off, but it was still nice and interesting to look at. And I thought it would be interesting to try and like recreate that style. And so I attempted to do that and like try to give it some sort of meaning that would seem like a Droqever, with the flowers wilt without something. I kind of regret the player character sprite I made. It does not fit like at all. It looks really out of place. Still, yeah.
That's fun. I think
yeah,
that's part of the fun is I really like. Hold on, I'm just zooming in on it. I like that you. I think that your reuse of like the background color or like a background-ish color in like the wilting flowers is nice. In that tile set, I think that spoke to me where you made the. I don't know. The flowers are this like background colored negative space type thing. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Then I made of like what would end up being the second screen of Not Found, which I think I did a lot better on like making a sprite. I actually ended up color sampling a really nice piece of art that I can't remember what it was. I think I have it bookmarked on Twitter. I still use Twitter a bit, unfortunately, but I can't remember how far back it was, what it was called. But I remember I like color sampled from it, which is why it looks so much better. And yeah, by the time I was planning to make, I made like 5 by the time, and I was going to post like 1 each day. And then you sent me Not Found, and I really liked it. I made a video, I played it, and I got to send it on the release channel, the Discord channel, which was really nice feeling. Yeah. Now, do you want to talk about the development of the game itself?
It was just so we talked about this before you started recording, but I do want to say again that when you started posting stuff in the in the style, it was really nice. Like it felt like we were having kind of a conversation, like, or like I'm like shouting into the void with this like bizarre art style, and then just for someone to say back to me like, hello, like, um, I can speak this language too. I thought that was like very very fascinating. And I liked the feeling a lot. And you posted in the Never Miss a Droqever Discord channel um, about the blur. You had posted some images with the blur, and I was I think no Johto also commented. Anyway, we talked about the blur a little bit, and kind of encouraged you, I think, to continue posting with the blur filter, and that eventually went into the end of gameplay. I don't know. I thought it was nice. Like, I'm not saying that the blur is like something that should always be done, but just I was sort of shocked to see you take that thing and go, hey, like, what if this was like just an intentional thing? And that was cool because again, I felt like you could speak this language back to me. And so when you're posting the images that, anyway, I think that happened after, maybe even, I forget the exact. Do you remember the order of events? Was the blur question before or after the images that turned into not found?
I remember I posted the first like two, then you made not found. Then I kept posting like one each day for a while, and then you sort of asked about. Then I asked about whether I should keep doing the blur because, and yeah,
Cool.
then the conversation happened. So it was definitely after,
Yeah.
like a while after.
Cool, good. I'm glad that you remembered the order of events. It's all just a soup to me. I never remember the order of anything happens in.
What was the blur originally? Like, what was it before it was? Where did that come from?
Username, you know, or yeah. So someone else say it. Good, cool. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I can say it. When you click off the screen in the Droqevers, the like game screen gets blurry.
Right.
I believe that's it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would sometimes. I think it started because sometimes when I posted the games, I would like. I don't remember if it was intentional or accidental the first time, but regardless, sometimes I eventually came to it occasionally, like I would click off the game, and then take the screenshot when it was intentionally a little bit blurry because I thought it looked sort of interesting, and so I would post the images of the game that I posted were that way. But like, to me, I was thinking about them as the outward face of the game. So the game to me was a crisp pixel game, but like I was like, hey, like, here's a blurry image, and then
It sort
to
of
my
invites
perception,
curiosity for the
go
player.
ahead.
It sort of invites the curiosity to actually play it, see what it's properly like.
Yeah. And then I don't know what it was to you, username 404, but to me, I saw that you were making these images, and they were like these, they weren't, the images weren't. I know that when you've talked about the images, you're saying that like you are imagining a game, and then the image is like the image of the game. So I don't want to misrepresent what it might be to you, but to me, I was just like, oh, like, you like this, you're working in this art style, and you're making like just these art pieces, and you're like, what if the art piece itself I posted with a blur effect on it, and that wasn't like, it wasn't this like enticement, or it wasn't like a cover image. It was like, no, like, this is the art. It is itself the blurred pixel art, and there isn't like anything behind it. Like, it's not hiding anything. It's not like covering anything. I was like, oh wow, like that's what was so shocking to me. I was like, you could just take pixel art and go like, actually, its final form is this blurred pixel art. I really love that.
It's irreverent, right? Like, there's something naughty about blurring, like putting a
Yeah.
blur filter over pixel art. Like, some people are going to get upset about that. They're going to be like, mixels or something, religious stuff.
It was so frustrating to me, like, posting just images on like anything, because all these fucking internet websites, they would, just, it's so frustrating posting images and everyone wants to blur pixel art and trying to put pixel art images on the internet and struggling with why isn't it nearest neighbor filtering? What if I lose the source or whatever? And there's something very liberating about just feeling like, oh, like, you know what? It's fine. This is just what it is. It's messed up. It's been messed up by a process, but it doesn't really lose anything about the underlying like choices that I made as an artist. Like you can still see the pixels. You don't lose that.
Mhm.
Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a tangent about this. Just it feels very cool. I do want to come back to Not Found, but if there's anything more to say about this, please go ahead.
I know, it's just, I find it funny that people are like, don't use mixels, and nearly every website, if you post like pixel art to scale, blurs it to hell. It's just,
Yeah. And I will say, I still get kind of mad at mixels, but I think that really it's just,
it's personal
if
taste.
something looks intentional and it has mixels, then it gets away with it. But a lot of the time, mixels are a
Byproduct of
a symptom, a very clear sign that they just didn't care.
Anyone have any thoughts about any of the Droqevers that we have not discussed yet?
Wait, I just want to finish about Not Found because I feel like I didn't really talk about the development too much.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's fine. No, you posted the images of that you posted, the withering flowers, and I just thought it was cool because you were not only I don't know, just you were speaking to me, and so I thought, what would it be like to really try to speak back, to have a little conversation. So of course I've got my whole like Godot engine process, so I knew that I was equipped and set up to make a platformer to make it actually work. So I did that, but I mean, I feel like for me the most exciting thing was I was taking stuff that you had made and trying to fit it in with new stuff. Like you had made some of what were clearly like finished rooms to me. I was like, I can imagine moving around in this room. And then I thought, oh, okay, if these two rooms go together, what does a third room look like? What does a fourth room look like? And so stylistically, I was
you were recreating the recreation.
Yeah.
Another echo.
And I was like jamming on your riff on my riff. And it was just, I don't know, it was really cool. It was fun. I'm glad that you liked it.
Musicians can jam, and it's real nice because they just have instruments and they just go. But like game development, nobody has instruments. We all like hand make our shit. It's hard to make games. It's never like, obviously it's hard to play instruments too. But can you talk about the engine itself? And like, I seem to remember there being a thing about the games being separate from like the games. You can like sideload the games like a cartridge or something.
Yeah. Yes. So I realized that the web builds of Godot are actually very clearly broken up into kind of these very clean pieces. There's the huge WASM, like the WebAssembly engine, which, how big it is now. I think at some point it was 16 megabytes, and now it feels like I think it's 40 megabytes. But I was thinking, I think even with my pre-Droqevers, the ones that were non-expiring, but I made, that filled and cluttered the calendar. I was thinking, what if I just make a game every day for the rest of my life? And I was running the numbers and the math, and so I had the Godot engine. Like every Godot build is whatever, a bunch of megabytes, and it was bothering me. But the actual .pck, it's like the package of code and assets and stuff in a blank Godot project, that's about 100 kilobytes. And so I made the Droqever website was actually like, I think the core impetus for me was I wanted a place where I could upload my games, aside from like a place that I owned, like just that I hosted, that wasn't itch.io. I like itch, but I wanted my own place. And I made like a little upload screen for myself where I would upload just the PCK file, and it would connect it up to a cached engine, the WASM file. So when you were playing the games on my website, it wouldn't reload the whole engine. It wouldn't re-download the entire Godot engine. It would just access the cached engine, which you'd already downloaded, because the idea was there would be a ton of games. And then the games themselves were like 100 kilobytes. So I ran the math, and I was like, if I make a game every day for the rest of my life, and I live to 80, it would be like 8 gigabytes, the entire storage for my entire life's work. And I was like, that sounds good. That sounds great. 8 gigabytes is, I mean, it's not nothing, but that's pretty small. I could leave that. Disney can have that.
And then the like how you make a bunch of platformer controllers.
Oh, yeah.
And like a long time ago, you talked about having a library for platformer controllers or something that had a name like Nadia or something.
Nav. Oh yeah. Oh. Okay. Back on Tig Source, I made a devlog for a game called Navdi I Ortem, which was just Metroidvania backwards, but I had a kind of a language thing. And I never made the game. I just back in the Tig Source days, I had a habit of making these kind of enticing sounding devlogs, and then if they, I don't know, got enough attention, then I would just keep working on them. But if they didn't, I'd be like, whatever. So I harvested some motivation from my community there, and I revisited it, and I made an engine. It was Navdi, Navdi, which is yeah, I don't know. It was like some kind of scramble. Anyway, Navdi, Navdi. I made Navdi, and then I made Navdi 3 as an engine, and then in Godot, and then I made a Navdi 4. But a very key thing about Navdi is, or my library, whatever. I never codified the character controller. Everything else, I think I could codify, but the character controllers, I love making new platformer character controllers from scratch every single time. I finally have like a small little tool that I use for handling collisions. So and it, I don't know if this is interesting, but like if you picture a sprite like this, I have some functions. I think if you play the end of gameplay, you can even see it, but it does like a little bit of slippage. So the basic movement code is this function called try slip move, and if you try slip move, but you kind of get caught on a corner, it'll just like bump you up 1 pixel. So you I don't know, it gives like a very slightly smoother feeling. And so I have some really low level stuff like that. I now finally do have it's a Godot node. It's called Navdi Body Mover, I think. And but every single time, every time I make a new character controller from scratch, I'm always like recoding the Coyote time, like floor and jump buffers. I write the code that says the thing has a X and Y velocity, gravity. It's Vy equals, move toward a number. So there's a lot of stuff. It's just such a joy. I just really like doing it. It's not like, and my tool, I think that I'm a big believer in, I guess, automating. I don't know if you envision writing a library as essentially like pre-solving problems or automating. I love to automate and pre-solve problems, but only the ones that I don't enjoy solving. So I will never stop enjoying making character controllers. So don't automate that.
I think it's good that you do that, because it's like a painting every time. You make different choices just randomly, and you get a lot of different results.
Yeah.
And some of them, the Cruel World character controller is amazing, right? Like really, really amazing. And I'm sure all of us have played lots of platformers. but there's nothing like that in any other game.
Yeah.
I mean, that you didn't make. But even in the games that you did make, like that little bounce, and how like at first you don't even notice that little bounce as he's walking, and then you do, and you're like, wait a minute, these 2 pixels actually matter. And then like the rolling underneath, it's just completely wild.
Yeah, I'm always
Thank you.
And you wouldn't get that if you were in the library, right? You wouldn't get that if you weren't doing it over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm always a bit jealous. Like
Okay.
I don't know what the word would be, but a bit sad that I missed out because I can't download it now. And I just looking at gameplay, it seems very interesting to try and play with that kind of
You
control scheme.
and Sylvie posted a like a hacked version. I think if you look up Beaceful World, so like Peaceful World, but with a B, Sylvie made a hacked version of Cruel World that you can play offline. Beaceful World. You should play it.
Peaceful world.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait. Hold on. I'm gonna wander over to my computer and see if I can find it. Oh, all right. Ziggy found it. Ziggy's on it.
Good job.
Yeah. I love Beaceful World.
I remember finding like Cool World in YouTube, which was I think I watched it before I watched anything of like Cruel World, and I thought it was just someone's like gameplay video of it. It ended up being a mod, and I found it really intriguing. Like it was everything was breaking down, and there was this door. You entered it, and the entire thing turned on its side.
Wait, do I know about Cool World?
Should just be search up Cool World on like just YouTube. Yeah, it's like 5 minutes long, I think.
Is this also Sylvie somehow? I just feel like everything's Sylvie somehow. This is a modification of Cruel World. Oh, it's Ash.
Yeah, and etc. It's just a very interesting like take on it.
Oh, I do remember this. Yeah, I do remember this. I remember.
Can you post the link? I am not able to find it. All I'm finding is like some SNES game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember this. That was cool.
Yeah, it was weird to watch that, then actually watch videos on the real game and see how they differ. And I was wondering, where's the part where they get to the Cool World segment? And it never happened. It didn't exist. Of course.
Yeah, it's true. No, it doesn't exist.
That was
Makes
neat
us-
because like everyone had to hack the engine to get, like we had the engine code files, and you could edit. They were just in plain text, and you could edit them, and you could understand what all the little secrets were. Like I made some levels, and you know, and then these hacks. That's very cool.
Wait, you made some levels? It's like, did you post them publicly anywhere? Or sorry.
No,
Ah.
I made tunnels that I could use to get from one place to another.
Yeah, you made like shortcuts just to explore like the existing, but you didn't make them trivial. I remember. You touched difficult on purpose for yourself.
Oh yeah. No, they were supposed to be levels too. But I would like close the game and then load up my hack and then open it again, and then I could use the shortcuts to get from one place to another, and then I would close it and open Cruel World again, and that way I could get around some of the terminals that had become like impossibly long to
hack.
But I mean, I digress.
I mean, I think that's a fair thing to do, right? Like, yeah. Does anyone have any thoughts on any of the other Droqevers that they want to bring up? Because I think we only ended up discussing like a few of them, not like all of them.
Can someone tell me about Valley Underwater? I never played Valley Underwater, but I like valleys.
Oh yeah, Valley Underwater. You started like, I don't know, you were underwater, of course. It's on the image. It's the second from the bottom, furthest on the right one. You were this little thing on the bottom left of that image. You could just like you could jump infinitely. I like the ones where you can jump infinitely. They're intriguing. And the higher you got, the lower you jumped up. Like gravity had more of an effect, so you couldn't get like infinitely high, of course. And if you went to the top right of there were several screens, and if you went to the top right of them, you could find the yellow square. I can't remember if you actually could get to it, I think you could, but like not any higher than that. And yeah, then it ended. But if instead you went down, straight down, there was another one, another yellow square, and if you went to that, then you remember Valley Under Valley? You played it, I think, like Droqen sent, like it was unlocked. Like
I briefly unlocked it, but I've relocked it since.
yeah, I'm wondering, Ziggy, did you play that in the time he had it unlocked?
No,
Sorry, Ziggy.
no, it's okay.
That's fair. But
Ziggy, you played Oh, sorry.
I missed a lot of Droqevers.
yeah,
I
then
think
you
because I wasn't in. I didn't know like never miss a Droqever thing until I had a lot of Droqevers.
yeah, and
But you played. You said you played. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, once you went through that second yellow square, you would just be in a like chasm, a new screen, a chasm where you couldn't do anything. If you went down, then yeah, it would just end, and that was the only thing you could do, go down. Sorry, finish
I
now.
think Ziggy, you played the end of Score Thing, right?
Yeah, I played the end of those 4, I think.
Yeah. The it wasn't like the same mechanic at all, but in Valley Underwater, it employed a similar kind of like top of the world technique, and the world had like kind of Valley Underwater was smaller, I think, but it had a similar sort of feeling of like, oh, there's all these interconnected screens, and it's just kind of this big like volume of space, and you can kind of like gain infinite height up to a point, and then it wouldn't let you anymore. Like and then the tile set, it was all kind of like it was like a monochromatic, not a gradient, but like the higher levels had like a light blue, and then as you went down, it became a darker blue. And I remember I think that my favorite thing about Valley Underwater was your character had a little bubble that would appear.
I love the bubbles.
You're moving around, and a little bubble would like randomly like spawn and then just sort of float around. And from what I remember, the way that it implemented the bubble is it was on a separate layer from the world. So if a bubble appeared and then you crossed over the screen boundary and you came into the next screen, the bubble would still stay where it was. And I think it was it was just one object, so it didn't actually spawn the bubble. It just took the bubble from where it was, and it teleported it to you, and maybe it reset a timer or something. So you're moving around, and yeah,
I love it's an entity pool with one entity.
Yeah. So I love the bubble. For me, Valley Underwater is all about the bubble.
Yeah, like the bubble. That's why I put it in the like thing. Yeah, and it was a very interesting one, Valley Underwater, because like it was made after a long time of not having any more Droqevers. I think it was like a few months after Jokedev had released, and you had like added like sound, like actually playing in the browser rather than having to open a separate beatbox link for it.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's interesting. I guess I never officially RSS'd it. Like it's not in this list.
It isn't? Huh.
Yeah, I guess it's possible that one actually I in my mind I conceived of it as not only a tech demo, but I was like, this is like mainly a tech demo. I think it was the first. I was using it to test whether my engine was working, and that's why it had Valley Under Valley as well. You play Valley Underwater, and one of the endings takes you into Valley Under Valley. It loads an entirely separate Godot project, and I was testing that function. That's probably why it's not in the list. I was like, oh, I'm just testing something.
Any others that you want to talk about in particular, Droqen? Or anyone?
I just, speaking of joke dev just moments ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else came out of this reading it as like a really sad one, but like when I played this, I'm like, oh man, someone must have died or something. But it's all talking about gameplay, but I thought it was a metaphor for something else. I don't think it was actually the case. You were knee deep in killing gameplay, but
I think it wasn't when I'm looking at this list, I think that I hadn't yet figured out, and it's surprising to me because I feel like I've talked about this, but I hadn't yet figured out using these as these like vessels for things that I wanted to remember. Saint's Path in particular was like, I mean, maybe their disappearing speaks to that. There are games that I've made that do kind of like act as like, here's like an emotional experience that I'm going through, and I want to, I don't know, clarify or intensify it for myself. And I think about those games, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what they're associated with, but I don't remember what Joke Dev was associated with, or if it was associated with anything.
I think
I remember
you remember. I remember
bits
you
of it. Oh,
on the in the thing you or on Blue Sky where you posted the link to it. You said it was a reference to like I'm a hit. Want to hear a game dev joke? Sorry, it's in development, or it was something like that. And you said it was like related to that in like title only.
that's
Like it was going to be more related
that's
to it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that viral thing where people are like, "Want to hear a game dev joke?" and then they say something that was quote tweeted a million times. Was it really associated with that?
Yeah, I think it was associated with it, and I don't know if it's I at this point I'm just talking about a thing that's in my mind and like maybe speculating that it sounds like it could be related. I just think it's really like it's not. I don't know. It's not a joke. It's like quite sad. Like when someone has like a project and they care about it and they want it to be a thing and are struggling with it. I don't know. I just feel like it's not quite right to take it so lightly. Uh, I when I think about Joke Dev, I do remember its physical structure and kind of the vibe of the writing in it. And I don't know how this relates to the game dev joke thing, but it felt to me like it was about like death and generations passing on, like like past to present to future. Um, but it never struck me as sad. But I understand how it could be associated with sadness because death is usually, you know, I don't even remember if you said it was sad. You were just saying like someone must have died or something. But I think it was associated with those bleats. Those want to hear a joke. I'd forgotten about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also forgot. I only remember the game, but
Mm.
all right.
But I mean, I'm not trying to like dismiss interpretations. I just I'm just I'm just shooting the shit about what I remember and how I feel.
A fair thing to do. I particularly liked like in like message and such. Blind like an no, it was seeing like an industry, which you posted on itch.io a link to its Droqever page, and after you got to like the right side of the screen, it then switched to a different one, seeing blind like an artist, and I found that like really interesting and compelling. That URL switch thing.
Yeah, that was neat, right? Like one of them, I think you play as a bigger character, and then another one you play as a smaller character, and it definitely made me. I mean, obviously the juxtaposition of artist and industry, is makes you think about these different perspectives that the perspectives that capital has on art, and then the perspective of the artist themselves, and like
Yeah.
it was blue. It was a blue one. I remember it being blue.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very blue.
Yeah, it was a
Bright blue.
it was a blue background. It was light, very light blue, like snow white tiles with blue streaks on them. The player was a dark, deep blue, and when it swapped to small, they were still that kind of shape. I I liked how the artists that were not the player on the previous screen, like how they ran around.
Oh yeah.
It had a sense of livelihood to the place.
Yeah, I remember those little guys now. Right. They were like constantly running around all the time, and I think they tried. Did they try to avoid you,
I don't
or did
think
they just run around? They didn't care.
yeah, they just ignored you, I
Mm.
think. And like when you became an artist like them too, you also couldn't reach them anymore. You were stuck on the opposite side of a chasm where they were. And when you actually went around there, they were just gone. They weren't there.
I don't remember what Blind Like an Artist was. Oh my god, no, I do remember. You come out, right? You go to the left again, and you
And
come back to see the same tiles eventually.
yeah, and then it ends. I like the.
I hadn't. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just remembering there was the left path, which is obligatory in every one of these Droqevers. You can go to the right for, I think, normal and left for the unusual. And if you went to the left, there was a really hard, like, it had wall jumping, and you had to perform like 3 wall jumps in a row that required you to move a block to the right. And it was like nearly impossible to do. It took me like 10 minutes or something. And it was not worth it at all. Which yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine, of course.
That's a comment that I was going to say earlier. That's is that like I both like and don't like how these games are full of things that you can see but maybe can't get to, and there's no way to tell. But Sylvie could get to them, and so can you if you just like become Sylvie, and then it's like, oh, what should I? But it's good because it means you can go and talk. People have different experiences of the game. You can go and talk to somebody else, and they can tell you about it. But it's also like only in video games do we have like pages in a book that are hard to find, that they're like glued together, and if you have the right kind of glue remover, you can find a page in the book and that alters the meaning of the experience or something. And it's like it feels like, I don't know. I honestly, I was like a little bit like, I'm glad that gameplay, that the end of gameplay didn't have a lot of secrets. At least I haven't found any. But it's because it feels like it's gonna have secrets. But the secrets are
Minimal,
the real kind,
Yeah, I remember. Well,
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
And I have a very. I mean, I think I have obviously it's a little bit different because I'm the one making them, but I feel like your response to secrets and my relationship to them are similar. Like I don't I forgive myself for making them, but I think that they're bad. And it feels. I feel like I make them like intentionally unrewarding because I don't want to create the feeling like, oh, like
if you
you've
didn't
gotta
you
go
didn't
do the
experience it
secret.
properly.
Sorry, what did you say?
Sorry, I keep interrupting. Wi-Fi issues.
No, it's fine. That's
yeah, but like
go ahead.
you have to, if you don't get this achievement, you didn't finish the game, woohoo, etc. You need to do it.
Yeah. And like the end result of that is I feel like I make a lot of secrets that are like not even really secrets. Like it's just, okay, you can do this jump, and when you do this jump, you get like an empty room, and at least that's how I remember it, right? Like you get an empty room, and mainly what the empty room to me says is, yeah, you did the jump. And because like it feels like wrong to put anything more than that there, because like once the secrets have rewards, then it feels like, oh, you really like compelled to do it. But like finding the secret is itself, like I'm like, even that is like a little bit too rewarding. It's like a little bit just having it. But
I'm curious if there's
I'm glad
any
at
way
the end of game
to have a secret that is in itself not too much of a reward, to have itself be there.
Yeah.
I
I just Sam. Oh, go ahead.
if it helps any, I learned about the swamp secret and I did it, but like I do not feel like I missed anything by not doing it earlier, and you do a good job of making the secrets feel unrewarding and unnecessary. Like
I like the
I mean, that
swamp
one literally says it's unnecessary. It like very plainly states to the player, it's like, okay, like you did it.
But
That's
it is a
actually
real.
I just want to that the poem, the line that the secret ending in Swamp gives you is a direct quote from Sylvie. Like she made a bleat at some point, which was calling something like stupid and hard and unreasonable or something, and I was like, this is perfect. I'm taking it.
It's rad. It's a real problem because like in a game, if there's a jump that looks like it's fun to like see a jump that you're like, I think I can do that. And then it's fun to like try to do it. And then if you succeed, it's satisfying. And then it's like if there's no acknowledgement, then it doesn't feel designed. And then it's like a different kind of experience. Like you've gone somewhere where you shouldn't have versus like the dev sort of you share that joke. There's that talk by John Blow that's like 1,000 spikes about 1,000 spikes.
1,001
About
spikes.
1,001
Like the
spikes,
game,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You missed the spike.
Where like these secrets are a conversation. So like the person knows that you have designed the jump to be hard, and then they do the jump, and then you say, yes, you did the jump, you know. But that's kind of an inane conversation as compared to like everything else that's going on in, for example, the end of gameplay. So like whether to I don't know how you do it, how you resist adding secrets.
It kill gameplay helps. I don't know how to put it other than it's just my good go-to magical phrase that centers me back in like, oh, there's this thing that I actually don't want to do. And like I don't know how to express, like I cannot possibly express enough. Like it's not an imperative exactly. Like I do feel in my heart that it's an imperative when I say the phrase kill gameplay. It's not like you should kill gameplay. I'm just like, all right, kill gameplay. Take me back to to that place. Yeah.
I remember particularly like two of the Droqevers, Val, which let me think for a second what their names were. There was seeing like an industry, and like, Saints Astray, which I think you like edited after they were actually posted. Like like for Saints Astray, there was a right path if you went to the right the first time, and you removed that, just made it loop instead.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so weird because I remember doing it. Then when I went down to actually record the video for it, it was not there, and I felt crazy. And for seeing like an industry, that you could on the last screen before it went to blind like an artist, you could actually make a jump to the very top of the level, and if you went to the right, it would still bring you back to seeing like an blind like an artist in the same place. And I thought that was an interesting secret. And when I tried to recreate it, I just couldn't. I couldn't tell if it was harder or if it was just impossible. Now,
Yeah, I do remember like I don't yeah, I remember both of those. I don't remember exactly the reasons, but I think with I'm sorry for making you feel crazy. There were just things that I released the thing and then I just felt like I'm not happy with this, and so I changed it. But yeah, I guess it did have a certain consequence. How do you feel about it now? Given some distance about the experience, like how do you feel about the experience of playing it and then suddenly it's changing or it's different?
I don't know. Well, for the blind seeing like an industry, I'm just wondering. I was at the time gonna like post a video to the server and be like, "What is this?" And I was wondering if you'd like add like a separate thing if you went up there. And since you just removed it, I was wondering. I just realized, oh, there's not anything special about that. That's just a special jump you can do. And for blind,
Yeah.
like, and for I'm bad with names of these. I keep getting them mixed
Thanks,
up.
Ray.
Yeah, Saints
That's
Astray.
fine.
The right ending. I'm just curious what it was now because I saw the text. I know that there was. I don't remember it though, and I'm never gonna get to see it. It's curious.
In memory, I think that I had conceived initially of Saints Astray as like what like I mean, and I think it's obvious, right? Saints Astray is just like Saints Path, but I changed some stuff. So I had initially included like all that existed of Saints Path in Saints Astray, but when I played it, I just kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't know, I don't think that this right path is I don't know. I didn't like it. I wasn't really satisfied with it. It felt sort of out of place, and I didn't want to put in the work to make it feel like a proper part of it. And I think really like Saints Astray was going to have the entirety of Saints Path in it. So if you went right, it was Saints Path. It was like a Saints Path 2 where like now there's a left exit. But then I sort of felt weird about that because Saints Path had expired and I wasn't it just didn't feel right. So I don't remember what it said, but it might have possibly just literally been a bunch of Saints Path with maybe some edits to it or something.
Yeah, it would have created the expectation there's some sort of change here, and it would just get everyone would be playing the right side, wondering what's changed, rather than exploring the left path, which is just new.
Yeah, and I felt like a temptation myself to change things as well in the right path, and I was like, well, that's not what I don't really want to change anything in the right path, so I felt it was kinder just to remove it. Also, I forgot about this, but Saints Path has those sections that are completely in black, right? Like you go and they're just dark, like you're groping around in the dark.
Oh yeah, that no, Saints Astray, but yeah, I remember them.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that I think that in Saints Astray I was playing around with adding like blackness to the revived Saints Path, and that seemed like remarkably like wrong to me. I was like, this isn't correct. I don't want to just make a harder version of Saints Path. Oh wow, RP0 just found footage of flooded pillar space. All from Alex.
Huh.
Yeah, apparently you asked him to playtest it.
Oh,
great. I hope he enjoyed it. I'm glad that there's footage.
I'm just looking at the thumbnail right now. I like that free sprite. Reminds me, there was an Instagram post you made, and it was like this like bug thing in the middle of a like black background, and there was like 5x5 vine tiles just crawling around. Kind of reminds me of that.
Oh yeah, there's actually, if you look at my Instagram, past the tarot cards, I have this Vine thing. I don't think this Vine thing was a game, but the neighborhood was when the neighborhood was on fire. That was one of my early Droqevers. And oh man, yeah, I think Goodbye Dragon was a cute one. It just has like a little pixel dragon guy. Sorry, I'm just like looking at my Instagram now. I'm coming back. I'm back.
Fair. It's interesting they're not even in the repository, the repo, which fair that they're not. Like I think you said like what's it called, the Palace in the Sky one that you posted to Itch was at one point a Droqever, right? Wasn't it? I think might be remembering things from
yeah. I think it may have been. I'm not sure. There was one. Oh, go ahead.
No. Finish your thought first.
There was a way back username you were asking about Droqevers that I remembered specifically, and I do remember that there was one which I posted before even the expiring thing on the calendar version of Droqever, which it was when I went to see the eclipse, like the total eclipse. I went with my dad and my sister and my partner, and we all went and we checked it out. And then I got home and I made just a little kind of almost just a bitsy like recreate I made it manually in Godot, but it was like a kind of bitsy like recreation of just a little spit of land where we saw the eclipse, and that's one that I still remember. I still think about that one a lot.
Cool. I wait. You saw the eclipse in Canada?
Yeah, we so my dad drove, or maybe I drove. Anyway, we drove to like a little bit, but yeah, we saw the eclipse. We got a totality. We had to drive a little bit out of the city to get to a good spot, basically, to see it.
Oh, I remember now. I had to drive south because I was in Michigan at the time, not in Ontario, as I am now. So I'd have to drive to Ohio, but you could have just driven east. Okay, never mind.
Bye, Ziggy.
Well,
bye.
Ziggy has left us. Oh well, that's fine.
He just like shrank down to the bottom.
That was beautiful.
Uh,
That was a good transition.
yeah. So it seems like we're wrapping up then.
Yeah,
People are starting to
you
leave.
know, I was remembering this. Sorry, go ahead.
Now, of course, you finished your thought.
I was remembering the calendar version of Droqever, or was it still Droqtober by then? I don't remember.
It was Droqever.
Like, you eventually hid the site, but I remember playing a bunch of them because I'm like, he's not really mentioning these, but I see them and I'm going to play them. I don't remember a lot of details, and now that they're completely gone, it's hard to even access memories about them. But there was one I do remember where it's like top-down tile set, and you're walking around and words pop up, and I believe it's like a snowy season. And I guess I don't remember that well, but you would walk around, and if you walked onto certain tiles and they were hard to get to because you couldn't actually figure out how to navigate the area, it would pop up things. Eventually you'd get to the end of the path and it would just end because, well, you made it to the end.
Did it have like, was there kind of a story and there was a screen with a lot of wind?
I believe so.
I think I remember this one. I posted it, and it was, yeah, there was. I don't remember. I think there was a snowy. There was like a one scene where you were walking around, and oh god, the way it worked was, there was like tall grass. If you stepped on a tall grass tile, that was fine, and the tall grass kind of got tamped down, but you couldn't move from a tall grass tile to another tall grass tile. So it was this sort of weird puzzle where it was like a, I guess almost like a Legend of Zelda 1 ladder rip like water situation. So you were trying to, like, you had to make it through that screen, and then there was like there was a, I think, the snowy wind scene, and there was like a dead tree or something. That sound right?
Yeah, I just remember the visceral experience of it, so I don't remember the super details, but it was just like, how do I navigate this, and all the details. And you know, there's this game called What Remains of Edith Finch, and I'm not going to go into the details of the game, but it's basically, there's a bunch of stories and you get to experience them, and towards the end there's a bunch more stories and you never get to experience those. They're completely gone. And I'm sorry to say this for everyone who might be listening into this Droqever thing, and you're just getting loose snippets of stories right now of the things that there is some material on, but there's even more. And you know, some part of me really likes that, where it's just like, I think you're going to keep doing this stuff. So if you guys like what Droqen does, just follow him along, and you'll get to have these moments. But
stuff will fall out. I'm happy that you're there for that stuff and you remember it, because a lot of this stuff is it's gone for me too. Like, even like, you know, this is like half remembered for me, and I probably wouldn't have remembered if you hadn't brought it up. And I feel like having all my games online doesn't really help me remember them in like a good light, but this does. Like, we can talk about them, and it's this like dream of a memory, and I can remember it fondly. But if I go and I actually play the games that are on my itch that you can still play, I only feel good about the perfect ones. Like, I love Awake. I think Awake is gonna be like up there in my mind forever. But like Drones, one of my oubliettes called Drones. Like, I still like it, but like going back to play it, I just see all like the janky glitches, and I feel sort of bad about it. Like, the audio doesn't really work, and yeah, it's nice.
Oh, the coins one, yeah.
Yeah, the coins
is still good though.
We always remember things better than they actually were. Unless they were bad, then we remember them worse than they actually were. we exaggerate in our minds.
Yeah.
Well, rather you just don't remember them. You have to be in a special space for me to hate and remember something, or rather, to do more than just dislike and forget it. But anyways.
Yeah. Seems like it's winding down now. So just before we end, Droqen, 2 questions, I think it was, I had wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Damn it, let me think. Never mind, just one, I think. But with your kill
I'll take
gameplay,
one.
the end of gameplay, kill
Yeah.
gameplay, do you think you'll be making any more like games? Like I remember I remember Handmade Death Labyrinth Volume 1 and
Mm.
etc. onwards, as well as that like tarot card game you posted about, the tarot cards. Do you plan to
Yeah.
do anything more with gameplay? Or is this just some things?
It's a good question. I am still, I'm still interested in platforming character controllers. I just love them. I love the way they feel, these little guys. And there's something about like Starseed Pilgrim and Big Orb and A Simple Crossing. They do something with tile-based interactions that is gives me like a or the grass movement. I don't know, like something about these. There's this phrase stuck in my head: static but interacting. I really like a screen full of just these little tiles that they're not moving around. I'm not. They're not like spikes. Like they're more complicated than spikes. They're doing something, but they're also very still. And I think like platformers give me that feeling too. You have a level with a bunch of blocks on it. You can jump on and move around. So I guess I'm kind of still interested in gameplay like stuff. But there's also I think I'm enjoying like conceiving of other art forms and feeling like I feel like wandering away from games is nice, right? I kind of want to like write a poem, sing a song, I don't know, write a short story, learn to embroider. I embroidered. Maybe it's not my thing. Like, and I want to come back to games as a choice and not just because it's the thing that I've always done and I don't know how to do anything else, which isn't true, but it feels that way sometimes. So I don't know. Games are a part of me. I don't think I'm ever gonna get away from them, but I don't know what form it's gonna take next.
Fair thing, fair thing. I think that's going to be like the end of this. If I I assume you know more about Discord than me because I didn't join it until kind of recently.
Mm.
If I leave the call, will it just end the call since I started it, or would it just keep going?
No, you're fine. You can leave the call and I won't kill it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have to
all
go.
of us still in here would just.
Yeah, I have to
Okay,
get
cool.
going now. So, yeah,
Nice.
you can feel free to discuss anything you want to
All right,
go
good.
to.
Thank you for organizing this.
Yeah, cool. It's fine.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for hosting this and bringing us together to have this conversation. I think it was. I had a really good time, and I hope that you did too.
Yeah. See ya. Bye. There it is.
Bye.